Hi, I'm Caroline.
And I'm Adrienne.
And this is Scandal Sheets. Hello and welcome to Scandal Sheets, the podcast that explores the scandals of history along with the people and places associated with them. I am your host, Caroline.
And I'm your also host, Adrienne.
Yay, you finally bought into my host theory.
And I am ready to feed Caroline shrimp crackers.
Oh, God. I can't believe I totally went off.
They're right here. Carlton, are you listening? So my favorite thing to do, I have so many favorite things to do, but that doesn't involve cats, is drinking fancy beer and also eating snacks from other countries, but specifically seafood flavored snacks from the Asian market in North Charleston called H&L. So, these are good. So these are called shrimp crackers. Oh, I got the spicy. I meant to get the regular, but it's the same difference, right? They are Korean. They look like those crunchy, like the Andy Cap. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, but they're like crunchy fries, but they're shrimp flavored.
Like Takis.
I know what that is, but only because Orange is the New Black. And you can tell I'm eating one right now, and it's delicious. And I'm eating another one. And it's hard, honestly, to stop eating them, and I know I have to give one of them to Caroline.
So, I hate seafood. I detest it. And Adrienne likes to taunt me on Facebook whenever she's eating these at her desk.
I do.
At work.
It's Fish Chip Friday. It was Fish Chip Friday, but I sort of, it's more seafood snack because they're not always
fish flavored.
Right. They're shrimp. I like the shrimp because it's not as strong. Anyway.
You're going to have to give me a hell of a lot of beer.
I feel like you can just take a bite.
No. I'm really going to need something to wash it down
They're
with.
not, so you don't even eat, when you have Low Country Boil, you don't even eat shrimp.
No.
Oh, that's crazy to me.
I go around it. I eat the sausage and the potatoes, but not the shrimp.
I think you should just take a bite.
I think you need to give me some beer.
Well, you can wash it down with that. Just put the whole thing in your mouth. It's fine.
Just put the whole thing in my mouth.
No, don't repeat that. You know what I meant. It's really not that bad. It's crunchy, so it's not texturally gross.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize if I vomit on air.
I promise there will be not vomiting. There will be no vomiting. Those are so good. And I know I can't be crunching the whole... See, she's eating it. She just... Oh, good job. You didn't even take... Some people, and I hate these people, they'll take a little nip of something. No, just put it in your mouth and eat it. It's not... It won't kill you. She hasn't thrown up. See, it's not bad.
They don't really taste like anything.
See? I won't make you eat any more, but I'm proud of you.
People who really know me know that I have very limited...
People that know Caroline and are listening to this, she legit just put one of these whole things in her mouth and didn't take a little nip or a half. She just put it in her mouth and crunched and swallowed it. So good job.
Yay,
Caroline ate a shrimp cracker, and it was not terrible. No. And she didn't even have to chase it with anything.
Beer. Can I have another one?
What is this nonsense?
Won't have one for breakfast, but they don't taste like shrimp.
See? I told you. There's essence of seafood.
Oh, wait a minute. I just got a whiff of shrimp there.
Yeah. But they're okay, right? They're a good work snack. I keep them in my drawer. And I have made 2 trips to H&L in the last 2 weeks.
I don't need the rest of that beer for that one.
It's not beer.
What is that?
It's It's caramel vodka.
Oh, God. Dang it.
What? Just take a little sip.
I hate vodka.
Oh, but it's not. It's nice and smooth. It's fine. It's very tasty.
It's not like rushing in the winter.
No.
Trying to...
No.
Actually, it's pretty good.
I know, yeah. Yeah, so I don't usually get to go very often, but now that I am a semi-professional curler, kind of kidding.
That's right.
Adrienne
has been taking curling lessons.
I've been curling. Right. So we
team.
did another friend and I.
And curling some crazy Minnesotan sport.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more Canadian, but so we did this learn to curl thing, which was at the Carolina Ice Palace I want to say it was in March. We did the first one. And then, so every time you come back, you don't do a learn to curl because so you're sort of welcome into the fold and you can play. So we've now done the learn to curl and then 2 subsequent sessions where we actually got to play a game.
So how's it? It's really
and the reason
really weird to me.
The reason I'm mentioning this is because
you're
the Carolina Ice Palace is off of
scratching the
Dorchester. Sorry, nobody who's not in Charleston knows where that is, but anyway, it's not Dorchester, it's actually Phosphate. So whatever, it's
North
up.
Charleston.
It's up,
the wilds of North Charleston.
Right. And so the market, the H&L market, is sort of like that same sort of direction. It's not too far. So we happened to stop there on the way back and have lunch, and it was delicious. And it was a perfect post curling, because it was these big. They have pho, but they also have.
Oh, I do like pho.
Yeah. They have brothy noodle bowls and oh my gosh, it's so good. But then you shop till you drop and you get the shrimp crackers and then you eat. Well, we had lunch and then we shopped and then, right.
You have shrimp crackers?
It was like a perfect afternoon. It was.
Okay.
I'll
take
what
your
you
word
were
for
saying
it.
about curling. Yes, you are a sweeper and they're not brooms, they're more like a Swiffer, like a padded Swiffer that you sweep. So this is interesting. The reason that you do that you see in the Olympics or whatever, people sweeping in front of the stone, is that you are causing friction and you're causing the ice to melt right in front of the stone. And so it makes it, does it make it slide truer or does it, because the reason it's called curling is because if you just let a stone go,
so it's like shuffleboard.
It'll curl on its own. But I feel like if you sweep, you are keeping the stone from curling because you're speeding it up. It slides easier on the ice.
Okay, then. You Minnesotans are so crazy.
Is it heating it? Well, I mean, but it's funny that's where I kind of grew up, and I didn't curl until I moved to South Carolina.
Well, there's some irony for you.
It's funny. Yeah, and that's I don't even have any way to connect any of this to Frank Lloyd Wright. Other than winters in Wisconsin are not really any fun, but they are if you curl.
Right. They probably curl in
So
Wisconsin.
I don't know. Anyway.
Any listeners from Wisconsin, give us a shout out and let us know if you curl to pass the long
I would
winters.
like to know where the geography of curling is.
So, yes, Frank Lloyd Wright. Here is our second part. Last week we ended on the great tragedy at Wright's.
Oh, yeah, and I was just kind of joking around, and we ended on quite a tragic note. So
we did.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring any unnecessary levity into.
That's okay.
But we're moving on, so
yes,
we can talk about some sad stuff. Maybe we needed that pre-show banter to set up for sad things.
Sure, why not? Yeah, we ended with the great tragedy at Taliesin, which was the house that Frank Lloyd Wright built for himself and his longtime lover, Mama Chaney.
Who was probably the love of his life.
Yes, definitely the love of his life. And he basically had a crazy butler who went crazy and...
Hired help. Was he butler or just more like a...
Yeah, I think he was kind of a man of all work. So yeah, he went crazy and hacked Mama and her 2 children to death and then set the house on fire and then hacked several other workers to death. So in total, 7 people died. Only one person involved actually survived. Frank was in Chicago at the time, so he had to come
Who
home.
has survived? Was he a drafts?
Yeah,
was he
one of the draftsmen,
Okay.
Herbert Fritz.
That's right.
And so that's kind of how we know about, we have a first-hand account from him. But there is also a lot of conjecture, and a lot of the different newspaper articles just like had all sorts of different.
Plus, if you're that traumatized, like how much can you actually remember?
Right? Exactly. And I mean, he actually got out.
It's intense.
He went through a window and got away from everything. So I think a lot of what actually happened was conjecture.
Yeah.
So we do know that Frank was quite devastated by Mama's death. The loss of Mama kind of set Frank in a series of regrettable decisions, although you could probably argue that he had made a couple of regrettable decisions up to this point as well.
Had.
If you have not listened to the first part of this little set of episodes, you definitely need to go back, but the regrettable decision that I refer to, the fact that he's still married to his first wife and the mother of his children. She basically refused to divorce him, so good times there. So,
and she refused to think ill of him too, right?
Right,
like he would always she supported him even though he was doing all this.
Right,
is crazy.
She pretty much believed that he was going to come back to her at some point.
Yeah.
So,
lady
Frank. Yeah, no. Frank immediately began rebuilding Taliesin as a memorial to Mama, and that's about as far as he got in terms of memorializing her, because he quickly rebounded with a woman named Maud Miriam Noel, who
I don't remember this one.
Oh, yeah, she was the middle one.
How many did he have?
He had 3 wives in total.
4. Well,
3 wives.
She's not the last one.
No, she's not.
So
but Mama was never married.
Oh, got it.
He was never married to Mama. They were just lovers. So Miriam was a bit of a bohemian, a sculptress, and a clairvoyant. Because we, have to...
Sure.
I kind of wonder...
She's a little late for that, right? Because those are sort of... that's a Victorian...
It was 1915, so...
Oh, all right. Maybe
still
not.
Kind of a little bit going on. Got that into the 20s. So he rebounded with Maud, or Miriam. Can't really remember which name she went by, to be honest. And he ended up in the papers in 1915 when his housekeeper stole letters written between Frank and Miriam, and she turned them over to the authorities. So these letters detailed the fact that Miriam had crossed state lines to stay with Frank. And so Frank was charged with violations of the Mann Act, which was designed to prevent the transportation of prostitutes across state lines, but it was basically the transportation of women for immoral purposes.
Okay. Well, who's going to stop you? Like, you're just going to get pulled over and like, I think she's too good for you. That must be, that can't be your wife.
Well, actually, what happened was Miriam was already living with him at Taliesin. But then they took a trip to California together. So that was kind of the crossing of the state lines. Now, they maintained they were just friends and that Frank's mother was their chaperone.
Nice.
Now, interestingly enough, the famed lawyer Clarence Darrow represented Frank in court to these initial proceedings.
Oh, like that Frank, that Darrow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The monkey.
Scopes monkey trial.
Yeah. I really couldn't find out a reason why the housekeeper had informed upon him like she did. The charges were eventually dismissed, but his reputation was in shreds once again. He had taken a pretty bad hit after he had eloped with Mama.
Sure.
And he was kind of
because people knew who he was.
Right.
I mean, he was kind of a big deal.
Known, yeah. So fortunately for him, he received an invite from the Mikado of Japan to design the new Imperial Hotel in Tokyo.
Oh, yeah.
So he and Miriam took off for Japan and spent the next 7 years there.
Okay. I think he used he called that textile block? That's what he used in the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo. So they were like concrete blocks imprinted with designs. He used it there. And the Ennis House in Los Angeles and the Hollyhock House. But it's a really cool effect, because he came up with those different motifs for every structure he did. And so in some of the ones that use these blocks, like they would imprint the motif of whatever the building was, and it would be in the block.
Oh.
It's really beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Finally, in